Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a tutorial on this purpley glitter look. I absolutely love how it came out. You guys know that I don't play a lot with color, but I am kind of getting inspired to do a little bit more with color because normally I'm that peachy, bronzy, kind of a neutral person, but this is my normal style of eyeshadow look that I've been doing a lot lately. So what I'm doing today is we're just kind of kicking it old school. We're going back to the basics and showing you guys some of the tips and tricks to work with hooded eyes and just kind of how I used to use a lot of these things as mapping tools, I guess if you will, just to kind of map out the shape and just kind of how it helped me to see, you know, where to place the shadows and all of that, because when you do have hooded eyes, you are working with a little bit of a different animal because you don't have a natural crease to place your shadows. So things are done a little bit different, and yes, it is a little bit tricky. So I wanted to kind of go back and just kind of revisit some of those things for today's video. So I did use this is the new, well, it's not new, but I just got it recently. This is the Huda Beauty. This is the Mercury Retrograde palette, which looks like this. I have a tendency to say Retrograde, Mercury, I just get them all mixed up. So this is what the palette looks like. And I did get the combo. So I got, this came with a brush, little holographic makeup case. And then I got the 3 brushes. And I did dip briefly into the Galaxy Chic from BH Cosmetics. You guys will see that in the tutorial. So that's it. I want to keep this intro super short, and if you guys are new, I want to take a second to welcome you guys to this video and to my channel. My name is Lauren Jade. I'm 57. I have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin with hooded eyes that are slightly downturned, so I'm always looking for ways to rock this hooded eye situation and kind of pass my tips and tricks on to you guys. I know we all have different eye shapes and different levels of hoodedness, but I'm hoping little tweak it up a little bit and you guys will pick up a few things so you guys can rock your hooded eyes too. And that's it. If you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching, and if you are new, I'd love to have you join me. Please hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell right next to it. That way YouTube notifies you each and every time I upload. And without further ado, let's just get right into this tutorial. I am priming my eyes. I'm using the P. Louise base. This is in the shade Rumor 2. And I'm also using the P. Louise brush. And this stuff I did not get from Morphe. I actually ordered it straight from the UK, from her website, long before they started even selling at Morphe. So, but I like that they are selling over there, because now I'm not coating this too heavily because I plan on using a white base on my lid to amplify. I'm going to grab a little bit of this RCMA. This is just the foundation palette here, and I'm just going to carve out my brow because the brow alignment for this particular look is very, very important. So I'm just going to carve out this brow area. Alright, so we are kicking it old school today, which means that I'm actually, well, I'm going to be setting my base P. Louise style, because you guys know that I have kind of said bye-bye to that translucent powder thing. I've always thought that was kind of half-baked. I never really liked it. It made everything more powdery, and there was just no point. And I love how when you set it with like your transition shade or a skin tone shade, it just makes everything more smoky. It just blends. I just like it a whole lot better. So I'm using, this is the Cara Beauty palette, and this one is the ES 2515 Smoky Rose palette. I'm going to use the beige shade right here, and then I'm going to use this nude shade. So I'm going to kind of mix the two together, and since I'm kicking it old school, I'm going to map out my lid space. So I'm going to take this white, make sure that it's really bright. I'm not going to do too much just because I probably, like I said, I'm going to put another base down here just a little bit, but I do need this mapped out so that I can clearly see my orbital bone, I can clearly see my socket line, and I know exactly where I'm placing the shadows. So this is what I always used to do in the very beginning. I always mapped out that lid space because I could see my natural shading, I could see my orbital bone, I could see my natural bone structure. when I would hit the right lighting. And so I always kind of knew, you know, where to kind of take my fake crease. I'm going to take this beige shade now, and I'm just going to kind of go right above that. So take that, it's kind of like a skin tone shade. It's like my melt blur, if you will, and I'm just going to place that on this upper socket bone. I think that will peek through very nicely above the bronzer. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that beige shade and just put it right underneath this little brow bone area right here. All right, if you guys remember, kicking it old school, so I always used to map out this lid space first. That was the first thing I did, was put in the light color. When I did that, I could see my socket bone, I could see the orbital bone, and I knew exactly where I wanted to place my upper crease shades. This also helped me to keep my shades up a little bit higher, because when you have hooded eyes, you don't have an actual crease. You have a skin fold that kind of hangs down over the eyelid and just kind of encroaches in all this space. So if you put things in your crease or right here inside that socket, when you open your eyes and you look straight ahead, it's all going to disappear and you're not going to see it. So this method helps me to not only know where to place the shadows, but really helps me to see that orbital bone, because that's exactly right in through here. It's exactly where I want to be with these shadows. The other thing I always used to do, if you guys remember, speaking of kicking it old school, I always used to start with lining, like doing like a little winged liner out here, because that also provided a border. So when I did that little winged liner, I kind of knew that, all right, I need to keep all my shadows in here. It just really helped so much. And since those early days, I've kind of gotten a lot more comfortable with my eye shape, and I know exactly kind of where, you know, things are going. But I do find that when I take the time to just kind of lightly map it out, I get a much nicer and more precise placement, and I also get a much cleaner look. So I actually prefer doing this method. I kind of miss it, you know. I need to kind of go back and kicking it old school. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of bronzing my crease. I want that full kind of whole contoured effect. So I'm starting from right here in the inner bridge of the nose, and I'm just sweeping it up through this inner socket, keeping it really high because I want to brush it up into that brow area. Just gives that nice, sexy, sultry fade. I'm just using this. This is the blush bar. This is last year's. You guys know that I always use the Huda bronzer, and I'm always grabbing the cheek leaders. So I thought I would use my little blush bar this time around. This is last year's, and it smells amazing. And then I'm just going to kind of sweep a little bit kind of through the rest of this region and just kind of connect it up here. So I'm just kind of right on that brow bone, right on my orbital bone, because now I can see it since I've got it kind of mapped out. Since I got the lid space kind of mapped out, I can really kind of see where I need to go. I'm also going to just kind of brush a little bit out here. I'm not doing too much with the bronzer today because we are kind of doing a pink and purpley kind of a look today. So, but I just want to kind of get a little bit in there just to kind of sculpt out a shadow crease, if you will. All right, I'm sweeping a little bit of this. This is the blush trio from Morphe in the shade Popsicle Coral, and I'm using this shade right here called Boss. I'm using the Huda brush that it came with, and I'm just kind of sweeping this just kind of through this little upper socket region right here, and I'm just going to kind of blow this out a little bit. I just want to get a nice little kind of a wash of color going. I'm going to sweep this out towards the temple. Just kind of brush this up here to kind of meet with that little bronzer shade. I just want to get a nice little halo of a warm peachy shade, and I'm wanting kind of that cat eye shape, so I'm keeping it right here above my bone, and then I'm just kind of winging this out. So I'm going for that kind of S pattern again, which is kind of what I've been doing. If you guys been watching my last few tutorials, you guys know that I've kind of been doing that little S pattern. So I'm gonna kind of stick with that same eye look for today. All right, I'm gonna grab this shade right here, which is Momentum. So it's kind of like a bone shade, and I'm just gonna kind of dust a little bit right on top. And you can use these bone shades. They make great little blending tool shades. So if you feel like, you know, the shadows got up a little bit high, just kind of sweep down and it'll kind of catch the edge of that color and it'll just kind of make it all airy and airbrushed. Making sure that my lid space is nice and bright here, so I have that mapped out, and then I am good to go. All right, next up, I'm gonna start to bring that pink and some purples into this look. I'm gonna grab this shade right here, which is Off Balance, and I'm gonna use this brush that it came with. I think I'm gonna go with this end right here, which looks like a Sigma E25 or a MAC 217 or a Morphe M433. It's a similar style. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna use, I take that back. I'm gonna use this rounded end here. After all that, I decided to use the rounded end. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm not going to take this as far in as I took the bronzer, as far as like connecting it to that inner part of that nose bridge. I'm going to kind of keep this out here. Right here. I'm going to start it out here, and then I'm just going to kind of sweep it up and in. Kind of stopping like right there. I don't want to take it too far in. I want to start to kind of create that shape. I think I'm going to switch to this side. I take that back. Yeah, this gives me a little bit more precision. And then I'm going to switch to the other side and just kind of blend. I like to go back and kind of tap a little bit of that white right in that lid, just to kind of keep everything nice and clean, and just to kind of keep that socket line in view, because I can see my natural shading, and then I know that everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. So I kind of go back and just kind of tap that in. You just want to just kind of lightly sweep and just kind of tap and press. You guys know how much I love that tapping and pressing. With hooded eyes and with mature, crepey, wrinkly skin, it really does help. I also like to take the belly of the brush and just kind of push, you know, that product into, you know, the bronzer or whatever light little transition shade. Just kind of push that in here. Oh, it just kind of looks like it's coming like that lit from within. So it looks like it's just kind of coming out of your skin, like it's just kind of part of your bone structure there. So I like to kind of do that. All right, now I'm going to, you know what, I need to grab, hold that thought. I needed to grab a really tiny brush. This one is a favorite. It's the Sigma E36, and this is the MAC 221, and both of these are very similar in terms of like the size and what they do. So I'm going to use the Sigma E36 for this step because I don't want to have to do a lot of blending. I don't want the color going all over the place. I just want it specifically kind of right out in here. And this brush doesn't really disperse a whole lot of color. It doesn't blend it out all over the place, and it's very, very precise. So that is what I want for this step. You can use like an M506 or 507, like a little tiny pointed tapered brush, even like a Sigma E45 if you wanted something, you know, more tapered and just a blending. But I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna grab Hot Mess, which kind of describes me. Grab a little bit of that, and I'm gonna keep this right on this outer section right here. So I'm gonna put this right above my natural crease. And just kind of start. This is my little plug and play area. It's kind of right out here, and it's also in alignment with my lower lash line going up. It's not quite towards the end. I don't like to put shadows like way down here because that just gets too much. So I like to kind of keep it a little bit before you get to the end. So I'm just going to sweep this on this outer area here. Hug this little socket, and then I'm going to kind of my normal pulling it out into that little cat eye effect here. And I'm not going to do too much with this. I'm not going to bring this in too far. I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Not too far though. Just kind of keeping it right on this outer area here. And you can see with this that, you know, there's really no blending that needs to be done, but if you want, you can go back with that first fluffy blending brush and just kind of flick the edges out. I like to keep it really dark, like the darkest part like close to the natural crease, so I have that dark to light contrast. So I'm usually just kind of, you know, pushing out the edges, I guess, if you will. A little plug and play area right in here. Hugging that socket and then just kind of flicking that out there. Kind of going back and forth and making sure that they are nice and even, going back and forth between the brushes here. All right, I'm going to pick up now just a tiny bit of this Utopia shade, just a little bit. I'm still using the Huda brush. It's the angled brush. I'm just going to pick up just like the tiniest bit. I'm going to start right out here in this little plug and play area, and I'm just going to kind of sweep over everything that I did and take this up through the brow. So I have that kind of orange area kind of up in here. Taking this up through the socket up here to the brow, and just kind of basically going over those pink and purpley shades so that this orange shade kind of peeks through, if you will. I'm going to grab a little bit of that beigey shade and just catch the edges of this, kind of bring it down. I like everything out here to be nice and light and airy. I just like that really airbrushed, soft look. And so I often use these little bone shades as little magic erasers. It's almost like they're a great blending tool shade. All right. So I like how this looks. I'm gonna go for one more round of that deeper purpley shade, and I'm back to that Sigma E36. I'm just gonna deepen this up just a hair. When you kind of go back and forth and tweak and you add a little bit more of those, you know, transition shades and the blending tool shade, then when you get into your deeper colors and you use like a smaller brush that just kind of, you can see this just kind of fits right into the socket area right here, just hugs it so nicely. There just is, you know, virtually no blending whatsoever to do. This brush pretty much blends it for you. Just do little tiny circular motions, and you can see it just brings that depth in there and just kind of does the blending for you. All right, I did forget to do my under eye baking, so I went ahead and put a little bit of this on now. This is just a mixture of the RCMA white no color translucent powder and the Ben Nye Luxury Banana Powder. I kind of mix those two together. I'm going to go ahead and do my winged liner now, just because of the fact that I always use shadows, and I like to have that smudgy, smoky kind of a wing, and I don't like doing that on top of like crusty shimmeries or glitter shades. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'm going to use this shade right here, and I'm going to use a combination of a flat to finer brush and an angled brush. This one is just a Morphe M432, and this is a Hourglass number 10. Really soft, super soft angled liner brush. I'm going to start with the flat to finer brush. And I'm going to keep it thicker on the outer corner. This does a couple things. I've got slightly downturned eyes, especially this one, and it just kind of gives the illusion that it's not so downturned, and it just kind of adds lift. So I just like to keep that nice and thick. Well, not too thick, but a little bit thicker on this outer corner. And then towards the inner corner, it's almost kind of like I'm tight lining, because I'm really kind of pushing this color into the upper lash. So what I do is I will usually just kind of pull this out into a cat eye and kind of do more of a straight liner, just kind of pull that out and then just kind of connect it here and just kind of fill it in. That's usually how I do my little wing on the daily. But today I'm going to keep it a little bit more lifted and turned up. I'm going to use this Persona. This is in the shade brown. It's a 24-hour waterproof eye pencil. And I want to mimic a line do it this way over here. I want to mimic a line that looks like it's going, or like it's extending from my water line up in here. So I'm going to get this positioned right in here, and then I'm just going to put a little line going up. So this is just going to give me that little wing tip. And it looks like it's kind of coming out from the water line right here. All right, then I'm going to take, and I'm going to use the angled brush right here. Go back into that shade, and I'm just going to connect it. So it kind of looks like I have this like little wing that's kind of upturned a little bit more. I'm going to connect the middle part, and then I'm going to connect the top and just kind of drag it in. And I like this this edge right here because it's real tiny and it just kind of fits like right here. You can see, like right there. It just gives that nice little closure area right here. So it's like you're just kind of stamping right here, following your lower lash line going up. So now I have this little wing that just kind of has a little bit more of a upturn to it. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of the P. Louise base. This is in the shade 0, which you guys know I usually use my NYX shadow base in white. So I'm really happy to have this one. I waited forever for Morphe to get it in. I didn't put very much, like almost like the size of like a pin. And you can see that it just like a little goes a long way. And I'm just going to put this mainly where I want that brightness. So mainly this inner. So before I dip into the glitter or the little topper shades that's in that palette, I'm going to use this is the Galaxy Chic from BH Cosmetics palette. Looks like this. They have some beautiful greens shades in here and some purples that I know will just mesh so nicely with that Huda. So I'm going to grab this one. This is the Milky Way, and I'm using my P. Louise brush. And I'm going to mix a little bit of that Cosmic, which is just that light lavender shade. And I'm going to put that on this corner right here. This will just kind of brighten this whole area up and give it that purpley kind of a light lavender hue to it. I'm going to also grab, I don't have all my ducks in a row. Half the stuff is over there. That's hard for these filming stations. I'm going to grab this white shade here. This is the Wild Child palette, also from BH Cosmetics. And I'm going to put that on this inner corner right here, because this is where I really want that brightness. Kind of brighten that up there. All right, so this is what we got going on. Now I'm going to go back to the Huda palette. And I think what I'm going to do, so this is what we got going on here. So this looks like a nice topper shade, and this looks like a really pretty glittery shade. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go with this glitter shade, but I need to grab some glitter glue, so hold that thought. All right, I went ahead and grabbed a little tiny Petri dish, and I'm going to use the glitter adhesive from Anastasia. I like this. I find this so much easier than like actual glue. It has a little nail polish type of applicator. I'm just gonna dip the tiniest bit onto this little Petri dish top using the P. Louise brush. I'm just gonna pick this up and I'm just gonna kind of set this and tap this super lightly where I'm planning to place the glitter shade. And I like it better than the glue because you can see it's clear and it doesn't mess up anything. All right, I'm gonna go back in and I think I'm gonna grab that Nebula shade. I'm gonna apply with my finger first and then I'm going to just to tap it on there. Oh, that is stunning. Just to tap that on there, and then I'm gonna get a little bit more precise in the placement with this brush here and just kind of get it up and just kind of smooth out the edges. Oh, this is stunning. So I'm gonna use the other brush. This one has a little like a sponge tip applicator, and I'm gonna grab this Cosmic shade right here. And I'm gonna put that in this inner corner right here. Oh, I don't know. I can't breathe over here. So, gosh, this is so stunning. Oh, all right. I'm just kind of going back now and just kind of going right over the border, which is what I call it. Like it's the area where like your mattes meet up with your shimmers, and just kind of dusting through there just to make sure that everything is nice and even. Oh, I can't breathe over here. Oh, I can't breathe. Stunning, stunning. All right, I'm going to touch up the face. All right, so on my lips, I'm just using these Anastasia things. I don't even know what they are. I got these like in a kit. This is Bellini liquid lipstick, and this one is in the shade Punch. So it just kind of looks like a little purpley, orangey, peachy, kind of a raspberry shade. And then I grabbed this Hypnotic Lights. This is something from Milani. And I just dabbed a tiny bit into this inner corner right here, just for a little something extra. And then I put like a tiny bit on the little center pout of the lip. So that is what I did there. Wow. Oh. And then I'm using this Pops of Coral blush trio from Morphe, since I've got that kind of shade on the eyes up here. I'm just sweeping this up. I'm not really an apples of the cheek person, so I kind of put my blush in the center here and kind of take it upwards towards the temple. Wow, that's it. All right, you guys, that completes the look. Oh, we need to spray the face. Hold a thought. This Mr. Greengrass that I got in my Boxy Luxe, December Boxy Luxe. This is called Power Dual Phase Setting Mist. Helps to set makeup, energize, and revive skin. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh my word, this is stunning. And you guys know that I'm not much of a purpley kind of a eyeshadow person, but I have to say I absolutely love this. All right, guys, that's it. I love you guys. I will see you in my next one. And thank you for watching.